Hi guys, it's Helena Mani here from One Agency in East Gosford. Today I'm interviewing Leanne Pilkington, which is the president of the Real Estate Institute of New South Wales. Leanne's been very gracious with her time, and thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Absolute pleasure. How's everything going up there?
It's been quite good. We've noticed a lot of stock on the Central Coast hitting the market in line with springtime.
Yep.
And yeah, quite a good little marketplace. Lots of interest from Sydney buyers at the moment. Central Coast is sort of seen as a bit of a safe haven during the coronavirus pandemic, and with the flexible work arrangements and things like that. The Central Coast is actually the #1 regional area on realestate.com.au for metro buyers from Sydney.
Yeah, I saw that. That's fantastic, isn't it?
Amazing. Yeah, I think the Central Coast has great things in stock.
Yeah, look, I definitely agree with you. We're certainly seeing increased interest in a lot of regional areas and other lifestyle areas, like, for example, the Northern Beaches or Camden, those sorts of areas that are a little bit further out of town, a little bit tricky to get to if you've got to drive every day. But now that we're all working from home still, and we know we can, places like the Central Coast are absolutely going to benefit from all of that, which is great.
Yeah, well, we've certainly noticed a difference.
Yep.
And I guess last time when you and I spoke, it was sort of right at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic. And there was a lot of uncertainty in the market. We didn't know what the coming months would look like. What else have you noticed that has changed?
I would never have predicted that the market would be going as well as it has been, to be perfectly frank. It has been still low supply and reasonably strong demand across most areas of Sydney. Certainly some of the areas that we are seeing prices and rentals fall, units and particularly units around universities, because we don't have the foreign students. So there's definitely been an impact there. But in the housing market, the prices have been remaining remarkably stable. In some instances, I don't know whether you saw on the weekend, there was a property in the eastern suburbs that went for $10.5 million above reserve. Which
I missed
absolutely,
that one.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
I did read the regional RP data report, which said the Central Coast region actually had a 0.7% increase in sales prices over the last quarter. So we've been very resilient.
We would never have predicted that, right?
Not at all.
And none of the economists did. So it's important not to speculate too much when it comes to this kind of thing. And of course, the government have had some great incentives in place that have been really effective for supporting construction. So those new home builder grants have been really, really popular. And also the first home buyer grants. We've seen a lot of first home buyers entering the market. So that has been, that's been great for a lot of areas.
Yeah, we've definitely noticed an influx of first home buyers at our open homes. Leanne, with the different incentives that are out there, are you able to sort of elaborate for us?
They keep changing all the time, of course. Things are expiring and all of that sort of stuff. So it's it is a bit of a moving target, but there are incentives for people that are buying brand new property. And also for first home buyers. And the other thing that I have only just heard about last week is that the bank's lending criteria is going to be changing a little bit. So all of the lending that they tightened up during the GFC, they're changing some of those rules. So stay tuned. We'll be providing more information about that in coming days.
I'm looking forward to hearing about the changes. I did speak with a finance broker recently who told me that the Central Coast is referred to as a Category 1 by the Big Four banks, and what that means is it's deemed as a low risk. So we are getting, you know, more and more loans approved, which is fantastic with all those buyers coming to the coast from Sydney.
From Sydney, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome news.
Yeah, it is. And last time we spoke, despite the pandemic, and we've already mentioned how resilient the market has been, which again, nobody could have predicted. There was so much, you know, doom and gloom out there, people predicting the market could fall by as much as 30% and things like that. When we spoke last, the auction clearance rates were 77%, which is quite high. And I know you said anything over 62% is considered a rising market. What are the auction clearance rates like now?
So this weekend, just gone, we had 815 properties go for auction. The preliminary clearance rate from CoreLogic is at 74.8%. So we would expect that to fall, to come back to probably high 60s in coming days. So to give you an example, last week, we had 608 properties that with a clearance of 67.5%.
Right.
So
but
still, still going well.
Still quite good.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah. And with, you know, as you said earlier, stock levels have been tight, but demand high. So supply and demand favouring the seller. What do you see happening to prices now that there's sort of more and more properties coming on the market?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, and I'm very careful not to predict anything about property prices because I'm always wrong, right? But certainly, you know, logic would tell you that once their supply and demand is more even, then prices should be stable. So, yeah, I think the tricky thing with prices will be when the banks decide to no longer offer the deferment. For the mortgage, you know, the mortgages that have been deferred. I know that the banks are extending those deferments in a number of cases. So, yeah, if the banks stop or don't extend them and then force people to sell, that will have a negative impact on prices. But until that happens,
then,
and it may not happen. It's not in the bank's best interest, and it's not in the government's best interest to see those things happening. So I think there will be some intervention along the way.
Okay.